how deep this man is in
Because this
pain.
woman, he laughed at the joke at the first, didn't he?
Because of this woman.
Spouse. I said,
And these are sizable books. They're minimum 200 pages. You can download them absolutely for free by simply going to, for example, this one, you just go to getmymarriageback.com, smartrealestatewholesaling.com, realestatemoneysecrets.com. So yes, I am a 3 times author. Those books are out there for your consumption, and they are also available everywhere on Amazon, anywhere that you pick up books. So in case you prefer a physical book like that.
All right, welcome back. So hopefully that wasn't playing too much doubles, but the next thing I want to do right now is I want to play this video for you, and we're talking about how Will Smith exposed the beta male real simp generation. I don't like using the word simp because it's about a bunch of lame ass people that have multiple definitions of the word simp. So as a matter of fact, I'm literally going to officially remove that word simp from that, right? And anytime you see me use the word simp is because somebody used it, and I'm calling it simp a lot. Usually the simps are the first one to call out simps. It takes one to recognize one at this point in time, because again, it has like multiple meanings, and but it's usually people use it when they disagree with you, right? So instead, let's just talk about how Will Smith exposed the beta male generation. All right, let's just talk about that. There's this video I want to play for you. Let me just make sure that audio is good. And this I don't know who this person is, but they put themselves out there. And I'm also going to play another video again. This guy I consider one of my mentors, because I read his book, and I think I don't agree with 100% what he says in his book, but I think that book is a fantastic book. I recommend that everybody reads it. His name is Corey Wayne, but I'm gonna let him respond to this guy. But let me play his video first.
The rest of the world. A lot of people are going to say that what Chris Rock said was out of line. A lot of people are going to say, wow, poor Jada. Wow, Will Smith really acted crazy. What they won't say is this. This is what happens when your spouse is a beta female. And she...
All right, so wait. He in his mind, he thinks everyone else is not saying this. Okay, I think I know 2 other people that have my opinion about this Will Smith and Jada situation. I think I know 2 other people, right? And if you look at the results that we're creating in society in terms of, is the society deteriorating or is it building? Are we having more divorce situation or are we having less, right? Are we having more single parenthood houses or less, or is it more, right? Let's look at the results we're creating, right? And let's look at majority of the opinions that you've seen thus far, right? And you can see that these opinions are polarized, right? People feel like women should be defended. Some people feel like, nah, beta female. He just came up with his own term right now. He called it beta female. What the fuck is that? Fuck is a beta female? Oh well, let's continue, right? Because again, right now he's in his own head. He feels like he's the only one that has this opinion. Now you and I know that there's a ton of people that had this terrible opinion so far, but let's play.
She has emasculated a man, belittled him, embarrassed him, deceived him, neglected him.
He deceived him. Jada deceived Will Smith for the past 25 years, right? Because we saw 2 weak moments from this couple, right? The red table talk, terrible moment. They going up there and slapping another man, terrible weak moment for Will Smith. Putting your family because of a stupid woke moment to tell your secret out there to lame people on the internet that don't know what to do with such information, right? Terrible moment. Because of these 2 moments, now we're going to define what 25 years was, right? By some randoms on the internet, right? I don't know who it is, but I'm also going to show you a video of people that are not necessarily random, that literally hundreds of thousands of people follow in a second. But again, in my opinion, the bigger lesson in all of this is that Will Smith has exposed a bunch of weak beta male generation. and we need to do better. We need to do better. The reason why these men are crying, yes, I used the word crying, I'm sorry, okay? That's what it sounds like to me, I'm sorry. The reason is because it touched a nerve. You felt emasculated by a woman before, and you refuse to address it and go through proper healing. Instead, you're projecting. Let's keep going.
Abused him mentally to where he feels that he has to seek any opportunity, where he's finally had it up to here with her saying,
typically it's women that accuse herself of abusing them mentally. Now we have a bunch of male people, a bunch of men, let's just call them men, right? Accusing women of emotionally abusing them. Are they right? I don't know, right? Because I'm not assessing them like that. I'm just saying we have too many men accusing women of being emotionally abused because they are presented with a romantic entanglement conflicts, right? They lack conflict resolution, right? They yelled at the woman, it didn't work. They found out finally that yelling at the woman doesn't work in 2022. They have to increase their skill set, but nah, fuck that. This woman need to shut up and listen. And that's still not working, right? And then they turn around and then point the finger, not just at that one woman, but every woman they get an opportunity to point finger at. Let's keep going. Women, I have your fair share. I'm coming, okay? But let me talk to the gentleman for a second, right?
you're not a man. You're not a real man.
Oh, they're always able to move ahead of you. They know exactly what we're about to say when it's time to hold them accountable, right? They knew I was about to say they're crying. They knew about to say, who hurt you? And then they are like, what do you mean hurt me, motherfucker? Like, no, I'm just calling you out, right? No, we are spirits. We have incredible radar for bullshit. If you're being hurt and you refuse to go through healing, especially women can pick that shit up. The only reason why you attract that phrase from a woman who hurt you is because you're showing up with feminine energy. Just take it from me, all right? Don't argue with me. Argue with the guy in the mirror. Let's keep going.
And putting their chaotic marriage on blast every chance she gets just to get attention, because she's not half the actress as he is an actor, not half as famous as her.
Now, is he right about that? You know what? He can be right. He can actually be right about that. I don't know if he's right because we don't know shit about that 25 years marriage, right? But he can actually be right. Maybe he's right. Maybe he can see through based off of that 2 weak moments, right? But you don't win romantic game. You don't win leadership by trying to be right. You win by actually leading. Did you get that? You don't win by trying to be right. You don't win by competing with women for the need to be right. You win by actually leading. Okay, you're leading more so with your silence, with your demeanor, with the way you handle yourself, with your self-control, right? But every time you see a marriage break apart, you're literally not looking for lessons. You're looking for a way to blame the woman. You just look at you. I do that too. I'm guilty of the same thing. I'm looking for my own biases. I have to tell myself, like, wait, stop. And it's still extremely difficult to not look at things with their own bias filters. But let's keep going.
Husband is. So she emasculates him, belittles him, degrades him.
No, he didn't go on the stage and just go and slap that man. She emasculated him. Never mind what just happened, the actual event. She emasculated him. This is what a bunch of men. See, I'm playing this white guy for you because some of you black men thought it was just a black people thing. No, there's a lot. It's everywhere. There are men who didn't go through proper healing. So anytime they get a chance to point fingers, feminine energy, they do exactly that.
Publicly. I can only imagine what actually happens in that house. To where he...
No, wait. I thought you knew what happened in the house. Why are you imagining? Just you know exactly what happened in that house. Why? Because you could relate. You were a weak man. You probably are a divorcee. There are a ton of divorcees that I know that are grown men that have gone through proper healing, and they are strong men, and they know that it's completely self-destruction to point fingers at your ex-wife. They know this because they've done the work. But of course, majority don't do the work. right? And here we have, if I was to predict, if I was to bet $2,000, this is one of it. I don't know him personally. This is one of them. Now, there are married men, right? Usually they're young. It's too early for them to be able to tell. That feel like they're married too, and they can just have the same stupid opinions. It doesn't work. You're dealing with another human being, right? That's not how to lead human beings. You can lead dogs that way, yes, sure. But in 2022, you have poor leadership skills. Let's keep going.
Finally is so fed up that he would be reckless, illogical, forward thinking.
This is what children and, sorry ladies, women do. They never do anything wrong. They blame it on the man. They blame it on someone else. No, it's his fault. That's what little people do. Okay? But we have men know. This is what happens when you're fed up. You just go up on a stage and you slap people. Does that make any sense? Does that make sense to you? But if you've ever had any opinion sound to this guy, this is how you sounded. Just so you know, okay?
Respond to where he would commit possible career suicide to get her nod, her approval, her grace, her...
So they always exaggerate. Exaggeration is a lie, by the way. They exaggerate the situation. Commit career suicide. This is what the feminine energy is expected to do. If you have any kind of masculine frame left in you, you really should not be talking like this. I'm sorry, you shouldn't be. You're not solving any problem. You're sobbing, you're crying like a little bitch, and I don't know I don't know who's gonna help you, because people run from this. Women are definitely not gonna help you. You know what they're gonna say? They're gonna say, "Who hurt you?" That's what they're gonna say, and it's consistent. You think it's just consistent? You're creating that result all by yourself. Right? You're sowing that seed, and you know what the feminine energy would do, and it's very beautiful, chaotic, natural essence. It will receive it and multiply for you. And that's when you hear things like, "Who hurt you? You had your heart broken." It's obvious. If you don't know yet, it becomes extremely obvious, at least to some of us, right? It's obvious.
Love bombing. This narcissistic, bipolar woman has made this man...
Can't make this shit up. Shout out to KS.
Where he gets up there and he even says the abuse, and you got to take jokes, and you got to take abuse from people.
He's just being a man who was being honest. In that moment, he had a weak moment, but he is a strong man, I'll tell you that much. He doesn't have time to be shooting videos about how women have hurt their men. He probably doesn't have that kind of time. Right now, it's kind of silent. It's a nice vacation for Will Smith. He made a boo-boo. He made a terrible mistake, right? It's a very nice vacation that he probably wasn't going to have, because he's a hardworking man, obviously, right? He had a weak moment, but you took that moment, you ran with it, start to project your own bullshit to the rest of the world based off of that, right? You're calling his wife bipolar, narcissistic. She could be all of this stuff, but does this guy really know? Right? You know what they say about people that assume? They make an ass out of you and me. Well, not me, out of yourself. Assume, right? Assumptions are terrible. Men don't make assumptions. If you look at all of the assessment of all of this Will Smith situation, is a bunch of assumptions. The only thing we know is that he allowed his family to do that stupid woke progressive moment of that red table talk. It was absolutely unnecessary, because you're giving ammunition to lames, basically. Second thing is going on that overreacting, off of social media rhetorics. But see, men are able to say, I can be weak. They're okay with saying, I can have a weak moment. And that's what he did on that stage. But of course, a lot of people cannot relate. Most people cannot relate, sadly. And then we're looking at, why do we have the situation that we have public right now? Hey Tawana, how you doing? How you doing, beautiful? Thanks for stopping by. Yeah. So let's keep going.
He wasn't talking about Chris Rock. He was talking about the abuse that he gets from that woman. That's why he was crying.
Now we have men speaking for men. We have men speaking for men out of pure assumption. It's weak. We need to do better. That's why the society is deteriorating. Listen, I know you have to listen. I know, listen, I can predict this guy. I can basically tell you his life story right now. You know what I'm still not gonna do? I don't know him. I'm not gonna assume. Because I could be wrong. There's always a chance I could be wrong. And men understands that and they don't make assumptions. But we have men, because they're hungry for dollars on the internet, they're hungry for that next shock moment, right? They want that viral video, right? They want their own viral video. They make stupid assumptions online and their dick get hard off of roasting women online every chance they get. This has nothing to do with right or wrong. It has everything to do with the results that this society is creating, and that's what I am talking about. I'm talking about the results we are creating. I'm not making this shit up. The society is deteriorating. You're saying it. You're actually more focused on how the society is deteriorating. I'm more focused on until I stumbled into this space. I didn't know, because I'm having a good time. I stumbled into the space, to be frank with you, because I got exposed to the algorithm, because I had my own experience too. But I went to look for healing solutions. I knew that the last thing I would be doing was competing with women. But I get it. Not everyone is like me. But oh yeah, feminism movement. We need to create our own feminism movement. Do you know what you sound like? You sound like a bunch of weak. It's basically sausage fest, man. It's annoying. It's annoying, right? Let's keep going here.
He was hurt deeply. Can you understand that? How deep this man is in pain?
How deep this man is in
Because of this
pain.
woman? He laughed at the joke at the first, didn't he?
Because of this woman.
Spouse are sitting.
It's the
6
woman's
feet
fault.
apart. You call that a close relationship?
They were sitting 6 feet apart. Let's talk about that for a second before we move in too further. Let's talk about that for a second. I'm going to show you this real quick, because before I come back to this lame dude right here, right? Let's see what they were sitting like, right? Will and Jada at the Oscar, right? Let's go take a look at that, right? They were sitting 6 feet apart. He said, right? Let me just look for an image, right? Does this look like they were sitting apart, or this was a sitting arrangement for the Oscars? All right, so again, assumptions. Okay, I'm not gonna make the judgment here, but you that you're watching right now, does this look like they're sitting apart, or this is everyone kind of sitting apart? Could this be COVID arrangements, regulations and stuff? Is that the 6 feet apart? Could that be? Oh, let's not worry about this one, right? What about the young lady, Lupita, that was sitting between them, right? Okay, this is another one. There's a young lady sitting between him here. What about this part where they're holding their arms together? I'm actually seeing this for the first time, right? Let's look at this. Let's see if we can look at it a little bit bigger, right? Right? Yeah, everybody's looking at the slap. But again, I didn't even have to look at this to know to know that, yeah, you're exaggerating stuff, right? Let me see here. I'm trying to see if I can copy image address and just, right? Does that look like they're holding hands? Now, everyone has been looking at the different angles, right, of the camera, right? Yes, if you're looking at the other angle, it looks like Lupita was sitting between them, right? But it looks like they're holding hands here. Now, I'm seeing this for the first time. See, grown men always make assumptions of best case scenario. Little weak men always make assumption of worst case scenario. They're either looking at data with one lens, their own personal projection of their biases on it, right? And that's basically how they look at life. They went through some kind of hurt, they never healed, they never went through the proper healing, right? So they project the world like that, right? But strong men always assume, if they have to assume at all, they assume the best case scenario. Because again, when you make assumptions, you make an ass out of you and you look stupid, basically, right? I'm saying no one else is sharing this picture. I just literally Googled it in front of you. We've got a serious problem. Let's keep playing this video.
Where they got a whole table to themselves and sitting 6 feet apart from each other.
6 feet apart during COVID. But it's Jada's fault. We have serious problems. I didn't know that we have this much problem until you pointed it out to me, by the way, Manosphere. I didn't know. But since you're pointing it out, let's keep talking about it, because we're gonna figure this out, gentlemen. We have to figure this out. It's not looking good. Why do men do that? They're making too many assumptions. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. It's annoying, to say the least. But when I say annoying, I say that lightly. It's, I'm good, But again, we have a society where I'm raising kids. I'm raising 4 kids. I want to make sure that the society is healthy for them as well, right? So we're going to continue this conversation regardless.
Really? Really? He laughed at it. He thought it was funny until...
Oh, he thought it was funny. Could that just be a plastic smile that everybody does at the Oscars? If I was to make an assumption, I would make an assumption of best case scenario, which is that was a plastic smile. The worst case scenario is that he was smiling and suddenly looked at this evil Jezebel wife's face, and then boom, the evil went inside of him. He decided to go and slap another man. That's the worst case scenario. Only weak men make such assumptions. I'm talking to men. Only weak men make such assumptions.
Jada showed that look again. Like, all right, don't say anything. Let me be embarrassed again. Don't say anything. Wait till we get back home. Wait till we get back.
This is exactly what happened to him. It's projecting. He had a woman that would, maybe body language. Wait till we get home. He attracted masculinity out of women. That's when you see, it's consistent. I say it all the time. You attract masculinity out of women, you assume every man does that. It's natural. But the point is that you're not just trying to be, are you trying to be a natural woman, or you want to be a man? Right? You gotta rise above your natural instincts, because the society we live in obviously is deteriorating. You find yourself in a manosphere, you're gonna start repeating stupid talking points in no time, because you're a human being like the rest of us. You gotta protect yourself, right? This guy really thought it was talking any kind of sense. I'm about to put the Poor Man podcast on blast in a second. I really like him. I've heard him say some really cool things, but it's looking bad.
Home. You know that abusive spouse look, where a lot of men get that from.
No, I don't know what abusive spouses look like until you start to tell me right now. I'm guessing you're about to tell us. Tell us, Joe.
Their wives, and ain't nobody talking about it. To an alpha male who's been taking care of his family from day one.
Wait, an alpha male attracted a masculine woman. Is that possible? Yes, but they don't stay together for 25 years. Dum-dum. They don't. It just can't work. The polarity won't be there. It's natural. You don't get to decide that. They can't stay together. Now, unless you're talking about alpha lion male. If we're talking about human people, we're talking about Will Smith, it's no way. I'm about to show you an example. It's no way Will Smith would have attracted a consistently masculine woman. It's just literally impossible. Literally.
It's felt to be an omega, like he ain't shit. Where he looks over, he sees his spouse give him that look of disapproval, like, all right, okay, wait till.
I'm not gonna dig up the video again right now, but she never rolled her eyes, not in my opinion. See, I'm African. If you see rolling eyes, ask Jamaicans and ask African women. That's not rolling eyes. You call that rolling eyes? That's just dumb. That's not rolling eyes. She was looking, she was gazing into the sky. She gazed away from Chris Rock and she was gazing into the sky. That's all we have. If you have another video, show it to me. Again, strong men assume, I'm not calling myself strong man, by the way, but but you get the gist. Weak men always assume the worst case scenario. It's assumption of worst case scenario all over the place, right? Let me see. Tuana said, do you think Jada is to blame for how Will reacted? Ha- Listen, I'll be honest with you, Tawana. I expect women to blame other people for how they act. I don't expect men to do that. That's not something that real dudes, that they do. Okay? They don't. Okay? We can't afford to point fingers. We just can't afford it. It's too much to lose. A man that has something to lose cannot afford to spend any level of energy on pointing fingers, because when you point fingers, it takes a certain amount of energy, right? And that's energy away from building yourself, from continuing to, part of building yourself is to check in the mirror and make sure that's not my fault, right? And even when it's not your fault, you hold yourself accountable and responsible, and you indirectly hold other people around you accountable by doing so. Because people that don't belong there just won't fit. That's just how this shit works. They won't fit in that equation. They will find their way out. Jada would have found our way out in all those times. She tried, did she? She did try to exit, right? But it wasn't possible. Not because Will was weak, contrary to popular opinion. It's because that's a strong man, actually. Yes. Okay? That's a strong man. He's had a series of weak moments. All the woke shit is weak. He needs to stop it. He needs to stop all the weird, weak, oh yeah, everybody, let's be honest, let's just be overly transparent bullshit. You don't need to do that with this generation, because eventually they're going to drag you, and that comment is going to affect you and then pull you weaker. They're going to drag you to their own energy, which is what they managed to do. So if I were to blame anybody for Will Smith outside of him, it's him. But if I was to really blame somebody, I will blame all of these weak men on the internet that has been dragging him. Okay? That shit will get to you at some point. We're all human beings. Remember I said that to when we're all full of shit. Okay? We can't act macho and Superman. At some point, you're going to be weak. And part of being a man is to acknowledge that sometimes you can be weak. And make sure that you have proper structure around yourself, just for weak moments like this, or when people start to decide to drag you. At some point, my channel is growing. At some point, somebody's going to attempt to drag me. I'm going to tell them suck a dick. Right? So I'm sorry, but it's all good, right? Let me keep going here.
On his night, knowing that he was nominated for Best Actor, not her, she's going to be Best what? Best what? Best what? She's created so many enemies in the industry. Only reason why she even gets gigs is because of him.
So is Jada the only black woman that doesn't have as much jobs anymore? I mean, there are a ton of them that complain about not getting jobs. I think most of them don't get jobs. How many superstars Ali Berry do we know? Oh, but somehow it's just Jada only because her husband just went to slap. I'm being sarcastic because they're too dumb. Sometimes they don't know how to read sarcasm too, right? I'm being sarcastic. It doesn't make sense to blame a woman for your actual physical act. It doesn't make any sense, right? It doesn't make any sense.
His influence. On his night, she had to push the final button on this man one more fucking time because she felt slighted. Comedians make jokes.
Now this white man wants to protect Chris Rock. He's gonna protect Chris Rock better than us other black men, right? Now, see, Tawana says, why are men of no color giving their opinions on this topic so harshly? Because they all the same. It's just the generation of men that we have right now. We have work to do. That it's not a black thing. I know when we get caught up in our own echo chamber, we think the behavior is just attributed to only black people. It's not. It's human behavior. How the story is being told is different from people to people, from group of people to, it's like from Africans to African Americans. It can be different how the story is being told, but it's really just the same story. That's all. It's just how we express ourselves can be different. So he could relate. That's why he was a weak. I hate that word. He was a weak man, right? He had an experience that he could relate, and he anytime something remotely looks like it, he's going to assume it's the same scenario.
A good joke. That doesn't even matter. It could have been any joke, people. I feel sorry for Will Smith.
Yeah, feel sorry for yourself. Feel sorry for yourself, you know. Right about now, I want to play a video of one of my mentors. His name is Coach Corey Wayne. I don't agree with everything he says. I probably agree with 96, 97% of everything he says. I said, when you're listening to a guru, ask them who their mentors are. If they tell you, I don't have a mentor, that's your first cue that they're full of shit. Okay, I have mentors that are 15, 16, 17 years old because they tend to say some things that makes me think a little bit deeper, right? But one of them is this guy right here. I'm gonna play his video for you.
Narcissist.
Right? And his name is Coach Corey Wayne. I saw one other lame ass dude that was bashing this dude because of the way he talks. Hey, you never listen. So there's exceptions to every rule. That's true. But sometimes you listen to content long enough, you know who belongs. So I'm a product, firstly, of my father. My father is a very strong, very wise man, right? But because it was my father, right? When I had my own crisis, right? When it comes to romantic crisis, they all think they're the only one that ever had it, right? My father wasn't capable of helping me because of the biases, defaults, because that's your son, it's my father. So even if he was saying something that made sense, there's a good chance that the man that raised me, I would probably not listen to certain things he doesn't know, or vice versa. Maybe he couldn't, because he was feeling certain level of empathy for me that he couldn't really tell me the real deal, right? And the first person that really told me the first truth was my uncle, was a big uncle to myself. And I complained, I said all of these different things that she did wrong, I was so right. And the guy, he let me finish. He was so smart and wise to let me finish what I said, and he would say, leave her alone. I didn't get it. I did not get it when he was saying it. He said, leave her alone. But anyway, eventually I stumbled to a few people. One of them is this guy, and I was able to really put a lot of things together with my own, obviously, personality. And he makes, welcome back, babe. Yeah, and I was able to put a few things together, and it made sense. And with all the results that we're seeing all over the place, it makes even more sense. So he's speaking to the Will Smith situation. As a matter of fact, the first video he shot, I was like, what is he talking about? This is going to be one of the few times I disagree with him. But listen to what he has to say right now.
People saying, oh, well, Jada's a narcissist, and, poor Will is the victim. I mean, at the end of the day, the great Don Shula said, strong men blame themselves, but weak men blame others.
Oh, whoa. Strong men blame themselves, but weak men blame others. Okay, weak men, here's what they're going to do at this point. They're going to start shaking. Like, what the fuck? It's always meant to be blamed for everything, right? Well, what's a better way to show that you're a weak man? Okay, relax. 30 seconds. Process it. Okay? Process what he just said. Okay, it's not about the word blame. Context, right? Shall we, gentlemen? All right, let's try that again. Right?
And poor Will is the victim. I mean, at the end of the day, the great Don Shula said, strong men blame themselves, but weak men blame others. And so that's why I see a lot of the guys trying to point the finger and say it's all Jada's fault. It's like, no, what a man does, a man says, this is my fault, because Will Smith is the one that invited Jada into his life. He's the one that proposed marriage to her. He's the one that went through and married her. He's the one that stayed with her. He's the one that agreed to the open relationship and allowed it to continue. No one will ever do or same to you.
All right, you see the angle. It's an angle is coming from the reason to come from that angle. It's not about right and wrong, as always, right? It's not about right and wrong. It's about what's the angle that gives you the best leverage as a man to build yourself, to not give unnecessary admonitions to people outside of your control, including your wife. See, when you play the victim, you cannot in the same breath play victim. I'm not saying being a victim. I'm saying playing a victim, right? See the difference? You can actually be a victim and not play a victim, right? You can acknowledge that I was a victim of certain things, but decide not to play the victim. When you play a victim, you disengage from your power to actually order the direction of your life. That's what he's talking about. It's a matter of context. It's a matter of perspective. It's a mindset issue. Okay?
That you don't invite them to do. So to point the finger and say, oh, well, it's, Jada's abusing Will. You could say that, but at the end of the day, Will Smith enabled.
Wait, you could say that, but at the end of the day, that means in reality, That part that you're trying to avoid, that you always say, hey, that's not real. No, the reality, that means the result you create, right? In reality, right? So you can avoid reality all you want, but you cannot avoid the consequences of avoiding reality, right? See, like your shadow. Every time you look around, there's always a light on you, and your shadow is like, there you are again, right? You can't run from this reality. You can't. It's just the reality, which is when we say at the end of the day, say everything you want. See all that guy that run his mouth all day long earlier? You could say everything you want, right? But at the end of the day, let's hear what he says.
Behavior. And he's the man. He's the stronger one. He's the masculine one. And as a man, and
as a
what
man,
I teach, everything that happens
in what
in
I
your life
teach
is a result of your best thinking.
Not everything, your best thinking. It's a series of events. There is no one event that makes up your life. It's basically what you're consistent at, right? And if we know anything about Will Smith, he's created a beautiful life for himself. Like, you can't really deny that for him and his wife. Right now, you happen to have lost your own wife, or you're going through a terrible situation with your wife, and instead of you approaching healing, you're looking for people to relate with. In any remote way you hear any story close to that, you just grab onto it. It's like, yeah, I knew it. You're not helping yourself. Okay, you're not helping yourself. Everything this young lady, or this lady, 50-something-year-old lady, had to say has been interpreted. Recently she said, somebody said, she said, I didn't need protection. So a bunch of people wrong with that. Oh, this means that she didn't need protection. Like, come on, man. Where's your masculine frame? Damn.
About it. And so when someone says, "Oh, it's the narcissist wife. It's all her fault." It's
The bipolar wife.
That's how men think. That's how beta males think.
That's how beta males think. You heard it. Okay, this guy is nice. It's just, he has 500,000 followers. It's not about the followers. I mean, most people don't follow the people with the right words to say anyway. But he's actually proven over time that he knows what the hell he's talking about. Oh, by the way, he's not married. It's just the content that makes sense. That the content is congruent. It's consistent with the results that you're creating.
That's how soy males think.
Soy males.
Alpha males don't think like that. Alpha males go, obviously I must have done something. Maybe I didn't pre-qualify her properly. Maybe I was weak. My thoughts.
Something. We're not asking you to just blame yourself. Some people, the weak males right now, they go for the statistics. That's why men are deleting themselves. They go for the worst case scenario. They just assume the worst case scenario. They disengage completely from the lessons. And I'm saying that to shame you, to get your attention. Come back to the lesson. You play a victim, you disengage from your power. You attract masculine energy from women. You create worse results than what you already have. You need to go through proper healing. Stop listening to people that resonate with your nerves, okay? And engage what you need to do to build yourself, because it's only going to get worse. Majority of you are not going to build a followership of 200,000 people online. It's a few weak males that are doing that successfully. It's negative, so why not? But majority of you are not going to be like that. Your personal relationship is going to get worse though. You got to be careful with what you're listening to out there. You got to know how to see. Men from where I'm from knows how to compartmentalize entertainment for, oh yeah, that's just Skype, that's just cruising. But a lot of these men are internalizing everything. They're taking it back to their personal relationship, and they're effectively destroying them. And they're struggling to build 100 subscribers on YouTube. I can say that now because I have 600. Right?
On some level, I did something to invite that person into my life, and I allowed them to stay in my life. And
that's power. That's power.
Hold her accountable consistently. That's the big problem in all this. Because there were times in their relationship, especially early on, where he held her accountable, where literally he was going to end the relationship over the communication issue.
Let me not spend too much time on this. Go find him. It's fantastic. Man, go find him. Listen, some people consider him purple pill. It's bullshit. Who gives a shit what color of pill it is? As long as you build the life you want, right? And you're helping this society. I don't give a shit what kind of color of pill it is. But his name is Corey Wayne. Let me actually put his name on here, because I actually think, I don't mind, just find him. He's on YouTube right there. He has like 500,000 subscribers on there. and he posts consistent video all the time.